Alright, what's going on everybody? Welcome back to another video here on the channel, and today we are going to be talking about YouTube's newest experiment that is getting everybody pretty worked up. Obviously, YouTube has a pretty long recorded history even of making changes to the platform that people really just don't like, right? You know, they'll do things that just, you would think on paper even when you would like write it down would just look like they were going to go bad, but YouTube is on a completely other level with this one, man. And I mean, you gotta understand YouTube's perspective from this. We'll talk about that obviously in the video, but I don't understand why now all of a sudden this has become a big deal for YouTube, because if we're being truthful here, ad blockers have been a thing for probably like at least, what, a decade now? I mean, Jesus, I'm pretty sure middle school with ad blockers, bro. I'm a grown man with a house now, so like, these aren't anything new. It's not like this just came along and YouTube's scrambling some response together. More or less, this has been something that has probably costed YouTube billions, literally with a B, over the years in ad revenue. YouTube is now running an experiment where they are targeting people's ad blockers that they'll use. Now, if for some reason you don't know what these ad blockers are, I'm actually kind of stunned that people are using the internet in modern times without ad blockers, but essentially these are just plugins that you can download for most, if not all, browsers. I know like Opera GX, I'm pretty sure, has a built-in ad blocker, but like on Google Chrome you can download. The one that I know everyone uses is called literally just AdBlock. That's the one I've used for like a decade at this point. They're pretty much just free extensions that prevent YouTube videos from playing ads and like displaying the little bumper ads and stuff along the comments and whatnot, right? So basically just giving you that quote-unquote YouTube premium ad-free experience, and realistically an internet-wide ad-free or extremely ad-limited experience, and just prevents the internet from being so cluttered, in my opinion. That's one thing that I've always hated about the internet, is there's so many ads. And you're probably like, oh, Optimus, you know, that's so hypocritical. You put ads on your videos. Which I understand that, you know, I do have to put ads on my YouTube videos to make a living, but I have never had a problem with people using ad blockers. In fact, I openly will admit that I use one. I mean, ad blockers just make things more convenient, right? And that's why so many people love them. Now, obviously, YouTube does not love them. They don't want anything to do with them. And now people are starting, in some instances, to see a pop-up from YouTube itself that shows that they are detecting ad blockers. In fact, there's one that's been going around on social media that people have been using that looks like this. Ad blockers are not allowed on YouTube. It looks like you may be using an ad blocker. Ads allow YouTube to stay free for billions of users worldwide. You can go ad-free with YouTube Premium and creators can still get paid from your subscription. And you get two options. You either allow ads on YouTube or you get YouTube Premium with the other buttons. So I will say I personally can vouch for YouTube Premium. I've had it for years. I really enjoy it. I think it's pretty decent. I understand that some people aren't willing to spend money on stuff like that, and that's completely understandable. But for me personally, I mean, I watch a pretty good amount of YouTube. I do feel a little morally, you know, conscious about like, oh shit, you know, these creators are spending hours on their videos. You know, I'm using an ad blocker. They're not getting paid. Me personally, I don't really care, but I also do get a lot of support from YouTube Premium. I mean, last year, like 10% of my total channel revenue came from people watching my videos with YouTube Premium subscriptions. So to people like that, thank you, of course, but I've never judged people or been mad at people for using free ad blockers and, you know, not watching ads like on my videos per se, you know, because I get it, you know, people don't give a shit about the ads on YouTube, and I shouldn't expect and demand people to watch ads or give me money to watch my content. At the end of the day, I understand that I'm making a free product. I'm uploading videos for free to the internet, and thankfully YouTube has a good system in place that allows me to get paid. But truth be told, I would still be doing this if I wasn't getting paid. And I know a lot of YouTubers, you know, they've maybe made hypocrites of themselves over ad blockers. We've seen a couple people over the years freak out about shit like this, but most YouTubers that I know even don't really have a problem with ad blockers. If anyone really has a big deal with it, it's YouTube themselves, because like I said, they have probably lost billions of dollars, man, like an insane amount of money from people using ad block. So of course YouTube, they want to make that money. They want to increase their revenue, they want to bring in a bigger piece of the pie or whatever, but I don't really see this going well. I'm going to be honest with you, I just simply don't. We've seen time and time again when it comes to stuff on the internet that, yeah, even if your product is the premium product on the market, even if it is free, the moment that you start, you know, adding hiccups to the process of using it, or you start monetizing it to an extent that it's not fun to use anymore, people will stop using it. People will stop giving a shit. I mean, shit, it's part of the reason, for instance, that like Facebook isn't really cool with like Gen Z and shit like that anymore. I mean, yeah, like millennials love Facebook, right? Like old heads are all over Facebook, bro, but younger people really don't give a shit about Facebook because it's littered with ads. It's an outdated experience for most people. It hasn't done well with keeping up with the times and with other social medias, and everything that Facebook does is shady and only out to make money. People don't like shit like that. I mean, I get that these companies have to make money, they have to do things, but let's be serious, YouTube is not hurting for money. YouTube is not having fucking money problems. Google is not having money problems. And essentially what this comes off as is YouTube is trying to basically make their website less appetizing to use, less practical for a lot of people to use, in order to scrape together some extra money. I mean, I don't really blame YouTube for like wanting to do something about it, but I mean, it's not like the platform has been fucking failing or falling apart over all these years that we've had ad blocker, right? I mean, it's not like YouTube hasn't been, hitting record numbers pretty much every damn year, right? Like YouTube is doing fine. They are succeeding. They are, making money. They're doing fine. They don't need the extra money. And I mean, I get it, right? They're a business. They're not going to be like, fuck it, let's not make some extra money. But at the end of the day, like I said, the moment you make that ease of access a little bit harder for people, you're really starting to push the boundaries of what people are willing to put up with. Now, I get it. There's not a lot of other YouTube alternatives out there, but I mean, there are platforms like Rumble, and Rumble, it is smaller, it has a little bit more of a reputation for not being as monitored and filtered, but a lot of people also like that too. They don't like the restrictions of YouTube, and you start doing shit like this and you start cracking down on more things across the platform, and you're giving more incentive for people to jump ship. Now, let's be honest. Is everyone going to go over to Rumble or Odyssey or whatever because YouTube is basically trying to prevent ad blockers? I really doubt it, but it just doesn't make sense because it's another one of those things where the YouTube community kind of feels like they're being spit on in a way, right? Like they feel like they're kind of getting shit on by YouTube. And a lot of people are like kind of defending it. They're like, oh, this is a huge W for creators. This is great for people on the platform. And yeah, I mean, technically it is. Like, sure, I probably would make more money like this, but I'm also a YouTube user. I mean, like I said, I have YouTube Premium, so ad block doesn't really matter on this platform for me. But like, I get why people want ad block, and I get that not everyone's going to pay for YouTube Premium. But I don't really feel like that is really worth it, right? Like, I don't care about making a little bit extra money. I mean, sure, it'd be great. I'm not going to sit here and turn it down, but at the end of the day, I just understand what it's like to be an internet user too much, man. I mean, like, you got to get it. Like, I was part of the generation that started growing up with, like, BearShare and fucking Napster and LimeWire and fucking all these different platforms and the Pirate Bay. Like, we grew up basically getting around shit like this, you know what I mean? I mean, I was a kid, I was using adblock, like I said, before, I had money to buy YouTube Premium and shit with. I understand, like, not everyone's gonna want to sit through fucking 7 ads in a YouTube video. I mean, I just don't see basically antagonizing the YouTube audience in this kind of way as a big W. I'm sorry. And as a creator, I just feel like there's so many larger issues at hand with the YouTube platform that should be getting addressed. I mean, there's been massive issues with the copyright system and YouTube's review systems and monetization policies, even site functionality, their outreach on social media. There's been so many problems across the board for years on YouTube that could have been fixed at any point in time. They could have finally addressed it. It's not like creators haven't been talking about these issues for half a decade at this point, right? But they could be doing something about all these other issues that people really have with the platform that could solve so many issues across the board, and like, no care for that whatsoever. But hey, randomly in 2023, let's get mad at ad blockers. Let's focus in on that. Now, obviously, these other things that they could be fixing very oftentimes don't really directly lead to more profit for YouTube, and I think that's really the standout of this entire thing here, right? That's really what we should be kind of focused on, is what makes us money as a business, right? Like, oh, we got to focus on what makes us money. Not all the time. I mean, you could do something, like I said, about the real problems on the platform that, I mean, admittedly won't make you as much money, but wouldn't it be kind of cool if your platform was good and like better and had, better features and actually worked for people? And then people would actually probably be more incentivized to like buy YouTube Premium and shit like that. And then you make more more money anyway, I guess. I don't know. It's just the way that I think, right? I don't know. Maybe that's why I'm not the CEO of a completely massive multinational conglomeration or anything like that, but I feel like the platforms that have true longevity, the platforms that really understand their user base online, are the ones that simply get what it's like to be a user on that platform, and the ones that actually try to meet in the middle with their audience, right? I mean, for instance, like you look at all these other like tech companies, like Netflix, let's take them for example, right? There's been a lot of controversy over the last couple months because they were going to introduce like this new policy that they had been working on that basically prevented people from sharing their passwords with each other, right? Like I know a lot of people, family, friends, or whatever, instead of everyone buying their own Netflix account, right? They'll just share a password for one, and then that way like 6 people can all just tap into the same Netflix. Well, of course, Netflix loses a lot of money doing this, so they wanted to step in and prevent that by stopping password sharing and making people actually buy their own accounts, and their stock plummeted. There was a massive backlash wave on social media. People were canceling their memberships to Netflix, and then they had to basically back it down and say that it, was an accident or some bullshit. I can't even remember how it even fully ended. They just tried to put out some corporate response, though, basically having to just apologize to everybody because they screwed up. Now, of course, you can understand Netflix doesn't want people to password share, but you also have to understand not everyone's gonna buy a Netflix account. Like, in no world is that ever gonna happen. And it's just like with this, in no world ever is YouTube going to actually successfully prevent people from blocking ads on their website. Like, do whatever you want, you can put a little pop-up that says, oh, we detected your fucking ad blocker, but guess what? Every other website on the planet has been introducing these over the last few years too. And a lot of the ad blocks are getting even smarter. There's some that can detect those pop-ups for you and block them from displaying and just re-unlock the entire website for you. Like, no matter what you do, you can put whatever you want up to try and prevent people from blocking ads. The nerds in their basement using GitHub code and like hanging out and writing these fucking plugins and programs, they're gonna one-up you eventually. Like, they're gonna outsmart you eventually, and then they're just gonna fucking push an update out to their little, plugin that just circumvents whatever you do. Like, I mean, we've seen it time and time again. It's like these companies don't realize that there's like 30 years of internet history plus to look at. Whenever has the internet not gotten an opportunity to get shit for free or to circumvent some paywall? It just doesn't happen. Like, it doesn't matter. You could have like fucking Fort Knox security preventing people from doing this, and people will find a way. If there is a will, there is a way. In internet terms, it is entirely true. Like, if people want around it, they're gonna get around it. And the quicker YouTube learns that, the better, because this is not a good decision and it's gonna piss a lot of people off. So with that being said, thank you guys for watching. If you did enjoy, make sure to leave a like, subscribe if you're brand new around here on the channel, follow me over on Twitter and Twitch at @SubTheOptimus. Make sure to check out Shoptimus down below. Thank you to my Watch Optimus subscribers. Your support helps the channel tremendously. And until my next video, guys, this is Optimus, talking about YouTube taking on ad blockers and signing out.